Good morning, my name is Carly and this is my channel Sewscape, and today I am going to be doing a little sew along. It's from the November issue of Burda Style, and they are these lovely kind of retro-y banana pants. So they have a slight tapered leg. It's a thinner leg than I am normally used to making. So I cut this out last night. I cut it out of this fine needle cord here. I'll just show you. So it's pretty lightweight. It's navy. I think it's gonna be lovely. So yeah, I traced it and cut it last night, and now we are ready to get sewing. So follow along with me if you want to see the journey of this sewing project. So the first step is going to be to sew the darts on the back pattern pieces. So I'm going to get those all pinned and we'll get them sewn up. Now that that dart is sewn in there, we are going to press that towards the center. All right, so now we're moving on to the part of this project that I am dreading. So here are the pants that we're making here. So we're gonna move on to these pockets here. And so here's hoping the instructions are okay. I have these crazy looking pocket pieces and they have to fit into these crazy shaped opening. This is the center front, or the front panel. So we're gonna sew this in here. So let's see how they have us construct this. All right, so the instructions say to fold these crazy looking pieces in half, press along the fold line, and then we are going to top stitch this. It says to use embroidery thread. Mine is not, and I'm a little worried because like mine is like a cord, so this is cut on the bias. I wonder if it'll look weird on the pants, but we're just gonna trust and follow the instructions and top stitch on that folded edge. So it says to do a double row of top stitching. I'm just gonna leave it as the single row of top stitching. I'll show you here if I can get it to focus. You can't really see it anyway, so I'm like, oh, why put the effort into doing more? Okay guys, the instructions are really hard. So I'm hoping I'm doing this right. Hopefully future Carly isn't looking at this going, no! So they want you to take this folded piece that we just sewed and top stitched, and then the triangle piece that is the insert. They want you to baste them together, right sides together, so that when this kind of flips up, the seam allowances match up on this side. So this will kind of be our pocket that we sew into that like crazy looking insert. So hopefully I'm doing this right. I kind of played around with it a few times to see like which side should be the pointy side, and it has to be this side. That's just what I think. So the only problem is this part kind of sticks out here. So I don't know if like the seam allowances will round out when it gets like inserted. Like this is the kind of like hip area of the pant. So like if I do this, it seems okay, but like this little point here, I don't know if it's supposed to be there. Let's do it. I'm not gonna serge anything right away until like I know for sure that I'm doing this properly. Okay guys, I was I was definitely making that more difficult than it seemed. So basically what they want you to do is they want you to take this triangle piece of fabric that's down here and just pop this other piece right on top of it. Make it fit in that triangle, and then sew it on or baste it on the bottom, and then this is gonna be the pocket. So maybe I'll baste these sides up too, so that everything just stays in place while we're inserting this insert into the pants. So I just cracked my bobbin in my sewing machine, so it started making this crazy squeak noise, and the thread got stuck somewhere in here. So I'm gonna toss this one, we're gonna fill a new bobbin, and we're gonna keep on basting. So the next step was inserting the insert into the pants. And so basically you line this all up, right sides facing, and you trim on the pant piece as, you know, you want to sew as tiny, as close to that corner as you can. And so I think I did a pretty good job. There is a little pucker in the fabric right at the point, but I'm gonna top stitch it. I think it'll be really cool. It's fine. Like, it kind of adds almost like a little dimple. But I did my best. I don't think I could have done any better. But I have one more shot with the other leg, and we'll see, maybe that one will be better. So with this side, I'm trying a different method. So this is the pant piece with the insert. So I've just trimmed the seam allowance at the corner in to a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And I kind of did the same thing on this side too. I don't know if I was supposed to do that, but I did it. So to avoid the pucker this time, I'm gonna line this exact point up with this exact point first, so that the center is perfectly in the center. And then I'm going to pull this side down and pin along that side. And then once that's pinned, pull this side up along this side. And then I'm just going to sew that in. And we'll see if we get a better point on this side. So the next step is to work on the pocket. So I have the pocket lining piece attached to the back pant leg, just between this kind of extended part here. So I'm gonna sew this on, and then I'm gonna overlock the whole edge, outside edge of the pants. So now I have those pockets sewn on. I'm gonna give it a press, and then I'm gonna edge stitch. All right, so when I sew fly zippers, I like to construct them flat. So the instructions are saying to sew up the side seams now. We're not gonna do that. I hope this isn't a mistake, because this is a pretty difficult pattern, but I'm gonna work on the fly. I have to go pick up my son in half an hour. I am gonna see if I can get this fly sewn before then. So when I sew a fly zip, I always follow the same YouTube tutorial. So I'm gonna link that tutorial down in the description bar. So I'm gonna start out by serging this edge up until the center of it. So then I pin, I always interface where the zip is gonna go, and I line up the interfacing to end where the stitching line is. So I'm gonna stitch along this edge of this interfacing with a long basting stitch. And then when I get down to this point here, I'm going to switch to a super narrow stitch. Some people just do a standard, like a 2.5. I changed mine to a 2 just because if I'm gonna rip pants, this is where I'm gonna rip pants. So I'm gonna back stitch here, and then I'm gonna stitch all the way to the end here and kind of end at the 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. And yeah, then we'll put the zip in. All right, so I have my fly sewn in. This is upside down here, a little weird to look at. It's now 2:06, so that took me about 20 minutes, but it looks awesome. I just love this fly construction. So I am going to have a cup of coffee before I go pick up my kiddo. And then once I drop him off at his little after school program, I'll be back to finish this. Yeah, looking back at the pockets, the second one that I did was actually better. So by matching this point, it kind of saves you from getting this little pucker in the fabric here, but I'm sure it'll be fine. No one will be looking that close except for me. I don't know why I look so orange when I'm filming in my kitchen, but I just wanted to let you know I just picked my son up from school, dropped him off at his after school program, and so we're having sloppy joes for dinner tonight. So I'm making these brioche cheese buns here, so they are all ready to go in the oven. So I have that preheating here, and so that'll be cooking in the background, and it'll be so enticing while I sew. So I'm gonna leave those covered and let's get back to sewing. All right, so I was so excited about completing the fly construction that I actually skipped putting on the pocket pieces on the front pieces here. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna put pocket piece on here, right side together, matching this up. And then I'm gonna sew it on and then overlock the whole edge, and then we'll be ready to sew the sides together. I have my pocket sewn on here. So I'm gonna press these with the seam allowance pointing outwards onto the pocket. And then I'm going to top stitch on this pocket edge to edge stitch it. Oh, we're losing light, people. I gotta have a light shining from this way. So yes, I'm gonna edge stitch right along the pocket piece there. Once again, I'm being chaotic and not following the instructions. The way I like to construct pants, once I have the front half put together, I like to put the back half together. So attach that seam, you know, the booty seam, and then I connect the inner leg together. So I'm gonna do that now. So I'm gonna connect that back seam. All right, I'm gonna try to show you what I am talking about here. So on the front, we're going to top stitch this crotch once it's all put together. So the seam allowances will have to be pushed over onto, it's really the left side, but when we're looking at it this way, it is on the right side. So I'm gonna push those over. So this back seam, this is the back seam that I just sewed up here. So I have it sewed and overlocked. So these will connect right in the middle here. And so I want to press these allowances over to that same side, which is the right side, and then top stitch from the right side on this piece. Hopefully that makes sense. So now that I have that whole back seam top stitch and sewn up here, I'm going to attach them together. So I just got off the phone with my mom, and now I'm actually going to put the front and the back together. So I just finished up dinner and now I'm gonna get back to work fixing my serger. The second looper thread keeps getting cut, so I'm gonna try to see if I can figure out what's going on there. I'm gonna turn on some Taylor Swift to keep me calm, and let's find out why this is happening. So I got it working. I serged that whole inner leg edge, and now I'm gonna press the allowances, the serged edge, to the back side, and I'm gonna top stitch it on the pants. So now I have the front and backs pinned together around the pocket bags. Here is your PSA to make sure you iron your lining pieces before you cut them, or else they will end up wonky. I am just gonna serge the edge of this to kind of get rid of the extra. So I have it lined up so where the front and back meet, this kind of extra little facing is tucked in. So when the pocket gets pulled apart, you don't see any of that because no one wants to see, I don't want anyone to see my lining fabric. So I think with these pockets, I'm gonna sew down, I'm gonna sew around and then all the way down the leg seam. But then I think I'm gonna come back and I'm just gonna sew into this and kind of bring this side seam down to here. And then same thing to the bottom. I find it kind of creates a better pocket. You put your phone in it and it doesn't flop around. It doesn't pop out of your pocket. Yeah, so I'm gonna sew up those side seams and then I get to try it on, see how it's fitting. All right, so I sewed up the side seams. I tried it on, they fit. The only problem is the pockets like flap open. You can see the lining fabric on the inside. And I don't even think that I'm gonna use them, so I'm just gonna top stitch the pockets closed for now. Maybe one day I'll go back and open them. But I feel like because my thighs are thick, side seam pockets are not great on pants. I wish I had put maybe some back pockets on these so then I wouldn't have to carry a bag every time I wear them. But I will kind of top stitch that down. And then because these are not high-waisted, I prefer to wear high-waisted pants. I have cut out a waistband just to kind of add an extra inch and a bit on top so that it hits at my natural waist at the most flattering part. So I'm going to start attaching that after this. Now I have that waistband sewn on here. So I have a button picked out. So it was in between a shiny gold and this one. And this like brass looking one. So I'm gonna do this one just because I feel like it goes more with silver and gold depending on what I'm wearing it with. So I'm gonna pop a buttonhole in here and then pop the button in this side, and yeah, we'll do one last fit test before we hem the bottom. While the fray check dries, I am taking the belt loop carrier. So what I did was I took the measurements and I folded it in like bias tape. So I folded each edge in by about 1 centimeter, and then I'm gonna fold both ends so all the raw edges are encased, and I'm gonna top stitch down. And that is the making of these pants. I absolutely love them. I can see myself just wearing them all the time. I've actually worn them 4 times already this week since I finished them. So they're a little linty and a little kind of baggy just in the knees from stretching. So this pattern, I love everything about it. The only thing that I would change would be the pocket construction. So I think I'm gonna go back and put some back pockets on this. After wearing these a couple times, I always feel like I'm trying to put my phone in my pocket. So let me know down in the comment section below if you have ever put pockets on pants once they're already constructed. Every time I put back pockets on pants, like before the 2 back pieces are attached down the middle. So I'm wondering what the best way to put them on the back would be without them kind of getting wrinkly or warped. So I might kind of use some double-sided tape to stick them down and then top stitch like that instead of pin. But let me know if you've had success with this. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have the most wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.